don't feel like you're behind. You are ahead if you start today. And things change so fast. You're always ahead as long as you're in front and not sleeping somewhere else. You mentioned about, it's all about efficiency, and that's what my business aims to do: improve efficiency for all sorts of operations. Labor is expensive, big, strong people, and there's are few and far between. There's many skilled people, and you don't want them or anyone doing things that are non-productive.
Welcome to the Onsite Podcast. We chat with contractors, educators, industry professionals about the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. So without further ado, let's fucking get into it.
What's up? Episode 15, and some of you may have been following along. We got this little pre-roller that we just added on. Today we have a special guest. His name is Sam Hebeisen with Mind Model AI. I was introduced to Sam from one of the contractors within the community. This dude is fucking brilliant, and I'm incredibly excited and also nervous to learn about all of the fundamental elements that live within AI. I've learned that Sam knows more than anyone I've ever met about AI. And so we will truly find out today how real it is if robots will be on site at some point and take your fucking job. Thank you so much, Sam, for coming on today. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thanks. You call me brilliant. That's very nice, but everyone has their own specialty, right? When I did concrete work, I burnt my lungs. When I tried to fix a wire, I got electrocuted. And when I painted, it just was really tasty and I couldn't stop. So what I've decided, early in life is through IT and computer science. I do have a background in software engineering, 20 years, as well as cloud architecture. And now with AI, my job is definitely at risk. So I pivoted into building AI applications and or using AI to facilitate all sorts of things like software development, but also making sure that people know that these tools exist and really can help almost everybody in every trade as long as they just embrace it, play along with it, and everyone has a good time, as well as really level up their work experience.
That's awesome, man. Well, I'm super excited to dive into this conversation with you. I tell my kids all my son is really into Chat GPT, he uses it all the time. My daughter's a little bit more hesitant. We've probably talked about this before with a couple other people, but really my mind is you're either going to be the one controlling what's going on or you're going to be controlled by what's going on. And so I've got a couple different questions that I want to dive into today, specifically about AI and how people can start to integrate it a little bit more. We talk about it a lot inside of the community, primarily just Chat GPT, but I think with our conversation, we can maybe get a little bit more advanced, maybe a little bit over your head too. So if anybody wants to connect with Sam, let's just get that out of the way now. Sam, what is the best way for anybody to reach out to you?
Sure. Like LinkedIn is great. My DMs kind of like land there. My email is sam@mindmodel.ai, and you can definitely check out mindmodel.ai, our website. Book a brainstorm. If you guys have any problems that are really hurting the business or feel that there's opportunity, like must be a better way to do this, especially in the age of AI, hit me up. I'll do free brainstorms, and even if it doesn't lead to business, I'll tell you exactly which path to get to, or at least be on, to make sure you don't get burned and get on the highway, basically on whatever it is that you're looking to do.
Awesome. Well, we'll grab that contact details again towards the end of the call. But Sam, everybody has a history, and that's why I want to dive into it first, just so they can paint a picture for everybody that's listening, who Sam is, where Sam came from, and why Sam is here on planet Earth helping us all understand the intricacies with AI, ChatGPT, and all the things. So tell us a little bit about yourself personally. Where are you from?
Sure. I was born and raised in the Philippines, believe it or not. My parents were missionaries there in the 80s. But I am Swiss. I am also Canadian now, naturalized and from birth, and basically lived there 20 years. And then I came to Canada to study at Laurier in Ontario for computer science. I did have a stint back in the Philippines to start my first startup, galing.com, but I settled here. I am now married with 2 children. The AI is steamrolling everything. So I'm just running like a video game right in front of it, making sure that people don't get crushed. I, you know, I was completely in our ad tech. So basically tech that facilitates the delivery of ads. And now with AI, I'm just empowered that, I, amongst all other engineers and people who aren't even technical, are empowered by being able to do almost everything, right? And that's just kind of like like a light bulb moment. And I just want to make sure people are kind of like on the journey with me, because it's like you said, only a matter of time. Everyone's going to need to have to know how to use these, or at least be know that they exist, and don't sleep under the rock, because it is profound, just like the internet, perhaps even more. The first thing I want people to understand is one of my biggest lessons is actually forming opinions. I can't really form opinions anymore because things change so fast. And the problem with that is you have an experience with an AI of some sort, you have a poor experience, and then that leaves an impression on you. Oh, AI sucks because this. By the time you get the chance to like tell people that AI sucks, it doesn't suck anymore. And that's nonstop. It's keeping on going and going faster and faster. So I guess the number one thing is just keep trying, keep playing with it. And one thing that if you had an idea and this might work and it didn't work, you know what? Today, try it again, because it might work this time. And just
Yeah.
of how this is going, it's not going backwards. It might get more expensive, but it also might get very cheap. And as long as you're on the train looking at what's happening, I think you'll be okay
No,
forever.
yeah, and I totally agree. And a lot of the contractors that are listening to this are business owners. And in business, the idea is get more efficient, right? We want to get more efficient, remove all the inefficiencies. And AI really is a tool for efficiency. There are so many other facets and so many other things that will come from it for sure. As we advanced further into the journey, like ChatGPT has been around for what is it like 18 months? How long has it been around?
So AI has been around for 10 years, but it's kind of like we've got this aha moment where now it's getting so good that it's past the threshold of, being very useful. ChatGPT, I think, has been around for 3 years, but it's only been actually very useful since GPT 3, 3.5, perhaps even 4, which is only like 24 months ago. So I
Mhm.
do deliver training to groups for all industries. And one thing I tell them is this is the perfect time to learn. No one should feel like they've missed the boat, full of FOMO, like, oh, I give up. It's the perfect time actually now, because if you had started training all this stuff a year ago, back then, or even 6 months ago, things were not very good, full of hallucinations, annoying things, risks, all sorts of things. And now, even with ChatGPT 5 just being unveiled like 2, 3 days ago, perhaps even 4, things has changed so much. Then now's the time to learn. If you would have learned GPT-4, now you don't have all these reasoning models and 4.1. And I'm a little disappointed in that, because I feel like someone stole my toolkit and all my tools. And now I just have like one or two, but that's okay. Learning ChatGPT 5, and I'm hoping to show some examples of that soon for remodeling and also estimating. But the point here is, don't feel like you're behind. You are ahead if you start today. And things change so fast. You're always ahead as long as you're in front and not sleeping somewhere else. I did want to mention one more thing. You mentioned about, it's all about efficiency, and that's what my business aims to do: improve efficiency for all sorts of operations. Labor is expensive, big, strong people, and there's are few and far between. There's many skilled people, and you don't want them or anyone doing things that are non-productive. Here's some few great examples. Like, I live in a construction area. I was a new build for a few years, but I've seen and witnessed large teams get deployed only to be sent home because the materials weren't there, had not enough materials, miscommunication, they didn't know what was going on, or they missed the ball on the weather or anything like that. So these are preventable things that, with very cost-effective automations and validation tools, can eliminate these catastrophes that can make or break the project, right? The admin, in the office, if they're copying and pasting, or if they're reading emails and forwarding, these things should all happen automatically, so that the people can get on the site faster with the correct tools, with the correct directions, ready to go and make money. Because we definitely need more homes, right?
Oh, 100%. Like we've been using ChatGPT, a lot of the people within the community, just on a surface level. We use it to, help with descriptions, help organize conversations, help with our sales process, sales proposals, responding to emails, complex emails, all those first level things that most contractors actually suck at. Like a lot of contractors just suck at responding to a freaking email. Now we have this tool that actually can literally copy and paste the existing email, put it into ChatGPT and get it to help you. And so even if you're just using it as a surface level to start, that's a great place. download ChatGPT if you haven't already, and get the paid version. Just elevate right to the paid version and go talk to it every day. Go ask it a question every day. It'll give you a response and it'll shock you. And then when you can level up, you connect with somebody like Sam and you can start, evolving into all different types of opportunities. Sam and I are working together on a potential software that could change the education process, and super excited about, what that could uncover, and all the different opportunities. So Sam has access to some technology that I'm going to let him dive into and try to keep up. You'll have to watch this if you're just listening. Okay, you'll have to go watch this on YouTube. There's a long format version. So make sure you go click that link. And if you're wherever you're following us from, you can find us on Instagram at the Onsite Podcast. And then from there, all the links are right in the bio. So Sam's got a little presentation, not a presentation necessarily, but he's going to take us for a little tour on a tool that you can utilize to incorporate, helping you break down. Is it the estimating, or what was the tool that you've got?
Oh, it's ChatGPT 5. I've got something for remodelers and estimating, takeoff analysis, and I want to demonstrate how everyone can now write software or just speak it into existence. And this is just a simple example to help as many people in the trades as possible. As Brandon said, Brandon's got it. He hit the nail on the head. He's at the forefront of technology and knows these things are possible. And that's why, we're having this discussion. We want to let you guys know that these things are also possible. And the paid version is only $30 Canadian per month. And I guarantee you it'll save you more than many hours. So yeah, I'll dive right into it. We'll do a takeoff analysis on a Dairy Queen, but first I want to show what's possible even in a remodeling space.
Dairy Queen. I just went to Dairy Queen yesterday with my daughter.
Oh yeah, I have a great story. I'll share it once it's thinking, because that takes a while.
They have Superman blizzards, and that was funny. And I'm always a dumbass when it comes into drive-throughs. I always say stupid things, and my kids just kind of bury their head. So we pull up to the drive-through, and I'm like, "Oh, like they got a Superman blizzard," and I didn't know what was different about it. It was just a Superman cookie dough blizzard. But at the end of my order, I was like, "I'll get one small Superman blizzard." Da, 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 da. And the guy on the drive-thru, he just gives a little chuckle. He's like, and my daughter just cracks up. She couldn't stop laughing. She's like, "You're so embarrassing." And I'm like, "No, I'm just a regular dad. Like, if you're not doing weird shit with your kids and just having fun, I mean, life's precious. Just enjoy it." So anyway, wanted to share that little story about Superman blizzards before you dive into the scientific.
You should have told your kids that Dairy Queen has a strict policy that they only give Superman blizzards to Supermen, and then they'll be like, "Oh, okay, nice."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm certified. That's funny.
I'm sharing my screen. Sharing my screen. So this is ChatGPT 5. Like I mentioned, it's $30 Canadian a month. There has been quite a few changes in that you don't have your toolkit anymore, but if you're just starting, there is nothing to worry about. So here I just found like an empty room, right? And then all I said was, "Please add beautiful rustic furniture," right? So this is obviously not for remodeling, but for staging or trying to play around with colors, paint, and how things might change. So, and then here I said repaint into modern colors. It did the same original photo taken with a camera and put in modern colors, and at the end just turn this into a party scene, try to sell a house or try to sell the project, right? You can also do some things like
can you click on the photo with the people? That's crazy.
Hopefully they destroy everything so the remodeler can come back the next day, right?
Oh, this is amazing.
Okay, I'll do another one. Insert a 3 feet dividing wall, and maybe you know what it means, like the bars.
Pony wall.
Pony wall.
Yeah, you'd want to say insert a 3 foot dividing pony wall.
Pony wall. And add some decor. So we'll see how this works. So with images, you can do almost anything. And honestly, 6 months ago, a year ago, it was garbage. Sorry. It's never garbage. It's just always improving. So you never know what you have in the future, right? But For social media, I know, Brandon, you've got a very powerful course that you want to deliver to people, and one of the biggest takeaways there is you got yourself known out there, right? And social media is fantastic for this. So the problem is, it takes too much time. I don't know what to say. Well, I'm sure people who use ChatGPT, they know what to say already, right? They just have ChatGPT add emotes, some hashtags that ChatGPT will think will get you the biggest reach, but also that image, right? So what you can do is upload an image of yourself. You could be naked if you want. Well, probably not. It's going to stop you there. But it's a picture
Yeah,
of your
nobody
face
wants to
and
see
just
me
say,
naked.
I'm an electrician and I'm using a hammer on a fuse box. You can see that I'm not an electrician, but let's just say
Yeah.
that's my prompt. It'll create that, you know, with writing on the wall, whatever your message is, and then you have your image and then you post, right? So ChatGPT allows you to create these creatives and messaging very quickly. And
Mhm.
that's still a manual process, but still is better than nothing. And then if you'd like, you guys can come to me and then we can automate this for 12, 24, 36 months in advance. And you just
Oh,
basically approve it. It does it all at once. You're like, yeah, that looks good. Go. And then you don't have to worry about it, right? And it also covers like Christmas and Father's Day and all those things, personalized to your message and whatever you're trying to driving at.
so
Okay.
will it? So can you automate it so that it automatically posts for you too?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. You don't even need tools. You can use actually make.com. So there are tools that make it easier, like Markey. Markey's really easy to use. Oh,
And
but
will this get flagged because it's all AI created?
nope, not at all. You might not be able to monetize, right? So try to make
Right.
money on your YouTube.
Mm.
But Make allows you to kind of like connect a Google Sheets to
Oh,
ChatGPT to Facebook, and then every day it'll look in your Google Sheets, go down a row, ask ChatGPT to create an image and text, post, and continues
no
like that. And all you
way.
have to do in your sheets is just like, oh, today I want to talk about hammers. Today I want to talk about drills. Today I want to talk about.
You can do this with like LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram.
You can. LinkedIn's a little bit more complicated. Instagram pretty easy. Facebook is super easy. And if you got, I can share like the blueprint for that. But doing it yourself will probably take some time. But there are tools like Markey. You
No, I
just
have
say
no
what you
interest in doing
want.
this
Or
myself.
actually, Gamma. Gamma is pretty sick. I did. Let's see if I have one. We did a wetness protection one. Didn't get the colors right, but I'm just like, give me a month's worth of content. Here you go. Great. I didn't even read it, but you just export image, post. This is took like less than 2 minutes to make.
No
Obviously,
way.
it looks too many neon colors, so I should have probably had a conversation with something that I actually wanted. But this was just a
Mhm.
demonstration for me on how to just generate things. You can also put in your website to influence the content, but these tools there's thousands of them. So there's simple ways of doing things, but the focus for today is to make sure people are aware of things like ChatGPT or Gemini
Mm.
and start
Yeah.
using them to become fluent with this type of technology.
Yeah, and one more thing to add to that too, like if you're listening, you know that we've talked about, the importance of posting content and about sharing how you solve problems. So finding a way to really articulate this content in a way that you can explain to your prospective clients about what you can solve is critical. Being consistent with posting is critical. And now we have a tool that's going to help us create all of the content infinitely. Like there's no more fucking excuses. So everyone that's listening, that's trying to grow their business, that says I'm too busy, I can't post content, you can do this, even a portion of this, and you can incorporate it into your content. Sam, we're definitely going to get you to do a presentation in our community here
Sure.
in the next couple of months
So
because this is freaking amazing.
yeah, so they're the biggest barrier, especially for trades, or not especially for trades, but people who are non-technical always thought, I'm not technical, I can't do this. That's false. That's why I'm
Hmm.
pivoting into AI, because technical people don't have that power anymore. Because you can just speak things into existence. And my next demonstration will be how to speak an estimator from a takeoff, which is really good and primarily for electricians. However, if you're a remodeler or and you have subcontractors that are electricians and want kind of like another opinion on their numbers, you can get that instantly.
Mm,
Okay, so just to close this out, we asked for a 3 foot pony wall. I should have
yeah.
asked for a longer one because it was kind of small here, but here it is,
Oh,
right?
cool. Look at
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
for
so
remodelers,
you could ask it to extend it to be flush with the couch or to encapsulate the couch.
sure.
Extend to be flush with, yeah.
Yeah. So the takeaway here is when you're remodeling, you don't need 3D software. You just need to take a picture. This one's too early in the conversation. And by the way, if there's furniture still in the photograph, you can ask it to remove it. Because,
Yeah.
when you're remodeling existing spaces, there's tons of junk everywhere. You can have it clean it out. This is also good for real estate agents.
Mhm.
You got a nice room full of junk, take a picture of it, tell ChatGPT, remove the junk, and then start from there. So this might take
Crazy.
a while. I'm going to get into the takeoff analysis. Also, if you have Google Workspace or a Google account already, you can also just use Gemini, gemini.google.com. Gemini is actually better than ChatGPT in many, many benchmarks. It's just a little bit more complicated, less user friendly, and doesn't have the advanced voice that ChatGPT does. We're not going to cover advanced voice, but I really suggest, even with ChatGPT free, just have a conversation with the advanced voice mode. This is how you do it. You click on new chat and then you click advanced voice mode. It's great. I won't do it now because I haven't had the mic set up for that. It might not even appear. You might not be able to hear it. But what I'm going to do now is we're going to do a bill of material analysis just using a takeoff. So I'm going to see if I have a demo here. So this is what we're going to make now. Basically a table of figures, but we're going to also bring it to another way, a step further to put in quantity, unit cost, so that you can just export to CSV, send it off as your
Mm.
estimate very quickly. So if you have the blueprint, you get your estimate 5 minutes. We'll do that right now. Okay, so I'm going to go new chat, and then I'm going to use Dairy Queen. I'm going to just show you the things that I'm providing here. This is an estimate that we're going to use to cross-reference, and this is the takeoff for Dairy Queen, United States. I got this from the public internet, so no one's getting screwed. And if anyone is getting screwed, it's for their fault for having it on their website. But here we go. I'm just going to upload the PDF. And I was told by an electrician this takes a long time. And Brandon, I know one of your mandates in business is you got to go first to market. The quicker you are, the better the
Yeah.
chances. And that's the same with digital marketing and ads. For every 100 milliseconds it takes for a page to load, you lose 10% of sales in an aggregate. Okay, so we've got the Dairy Queen, and I'm just going to say here's a takeoff for Dairy Queen. Please perform analysis specifically focused on electrical, lighting fixtures, low voltage items, also include fire alarm and other digital networking systems. You actually don't even
Mm.
have to say all that. You just say perform an analysis. It just might take longer if it's like a really, really, really big file.
No
So
way.
this uses, I'm used to doing this with the O3 model, but they're gone. But they've built it in together, so it's fine. If you want better results, you can switch to Thinking and Pro. But the reason why I'm not choosing these currently is because I don't want to get cut off saying, "Oh, you've used ChatGPT too much," because I do use ChatGPT quite a bit. And if you upload
Yeah.
a big file and it's got to think like, you
I
could
get
just
that
hear the
almost every
natural
day.
gas turbines running.
I
Um,
I almost max it out every other day.
Yeah, and you have a pro account too, something crazy like that. I just have Teams, and plus they're similar. With Teams, you can share folders.
Yeah.
I can put stuff in this folder and chat to things in the folder, like company policies, project details, and I could just turn on a voice and be like, "Hey, tell me about this project," and have a good experience there.
Yeah, while this is loading, I just want to mention one thing too that I just to give people context. So one of the things we talked about with using ChatGPT with the contractors that we work with, every time you upload a new thread, let's call it within ChatGPT, you can name that thread. And so what contractors that we've been working with actually have listed all of their threads under the address for the project. And the very first thing that they do is they upload all their information into the same thread. Every job they'll put in any change orders, any pictures, anything, just and analyze and store this in that thread. Then what happens is if you want to let's say search back on something that the client maybe said, you can just rip through that whole thread. It's like its own internal cloud-based product. So now knowing what you're showing me right here, uploading the drawings, you can have the drawings in the thread and have those as a source file. And then you could also go back and say, like, let's say there's an addendum or a change order or any kind of, change request. You can upload all those in there too, and probably get it to cross-reference the original documents to figure out what true differences are and where you have to review, other additional changes. I'm just trying to wrap my head around all this different shit you're showing me right now, but there's just so much.
So the thread, you're absolutely right. There is a problem with threads, though, in that AIs have a limited context window. So the bucket of stuff you can put, the amount of stuff you can put in the bucket, that is the thread, is limited. And when it's full, it overflows not from the top, not from the beginning, but from the middle. So it starts
Hallucinating.
It starts hallucinating. So this is what projects are here on the left. They're like folders.
Mm-hmm.
So you can create folders and then put everything in that folder, and then you won't have that problem in that you can put, So let's say.
So what if you maxed out that thread? So let's say it was like project 111 7th Avenue and it was drawings, and then you had another one that was like, change orders, and another one was like finished selections.
Yep.
You would, okay. Oh, that's cool.
So here you can add files, PDFs, images. You can also add connectors, which is pretty incredible. You can connect. Let me show you connectors in a moment. You can have it access your emails, have it access your Google Drive, Dropbox, and then you add instructions. So here you can be like, my goal is always to have an estimate at the end of the day. And then in here, now you can start individual threads inside the folder, so that when you're talking about one thing, it knows which files to use. When you're talking about another thing, it knows which files to use. And then you can close the thread and start a new one, so you don't get into that problem of filling up the context window. And context window used to be an incredible problem because they were just so small. And then 4.1 came out with 1 million. Gemini is now like Gemini Flash is like 2 million, like crazy stuff. Now I'm going back.
2 million what?
Words is the limit. So unfortunately, is this Safeway?
Safeway.
Okay. So I got ahead because we were talking about stuff. Let me just close out the project. So projects, these folders, are way better than individual threads, because over time the individual thread will degrade and become stupid because it just has too much. It can't hold it in. But with folders, you can put everything in there, and then the AI becomes kind of like an agent, picking and choosing what it needs to answer your question, and then the quality of your results are way better. Okay, so it looks like I didn't do Dairy Queen. I put in Safeway.
It's fine. Safeway's a great place. Got crispy grapes.
Yeah, I wanted to share a Dairy Queen story. Whatever. Okay, so.
Okay, fair enough. You don't have like a Superman Dairy Queen story? I'm actually going to use that one about that I'm certified.
Well, as an immigrant, I was floored at how Dairy Queen existed, and I ordered like an extra large Blizzard, and I was at the beach, and I ate this thing so fast that I felt sick, and I vomited the whole Blizzard on the beach. And my experience was very positive because it was just as delicious coming out as going in, and that's why I had such a positive experience. Like, that is delicious.
That's fucking nasty.
Then I gained 100 pounds and lost them, so whatever. Okay.
Well, an extra large Blizzard, that's got to be about 10,000 calories.
I don't know how a stomach would even fit it. Okay.
Well,
let me just try this again. I don't know. I guess I got out of it before it even started. That's just multitasking and context switching, right?
I mean, there's so much that we can talk about. There's so many different directions.
That's a problem. Here. You can do anything, almost anything. And I say almost anything because if you try make bombs or anything, you're gonna get cut off and probably get reported too. So
well, we don't do that shit.
No. But that used to be a problem a year ago, right? These models didn't have guardrails, didn't have. So while this is going, I'm going to go into an example. Let's just use Safeway because I went the furthest with that. Okay, so I gave the Safeway takeoff, perform an analysis, and it gave me all the counts for all the breakers, the conduits, linear foot of different wiring.
What do you think
Then
the accuracy of this is?
So yeah, the accuracy is not perfect, but it's always based on your input, right? So depending on where your data is coming from, so as long as you're
Mhm.
using good software or the whoever's creating these have to make sure that they're using the right symbols and everything. But you can add like a buffer of like 15% for
Yeah.
contingency because you just want to get this thing out of the door, right?
Yeah.
At the same time, from a buyer's perspective, and if you think someone's contractor's estimate is kind of bunk, you can at least get a second opinion with that with that difference. So here I put in the actual estimate to get kind of like a feeling of the differences, and out of all of them, it's not that bad, right? So we've got maybe 100 items here, and it's telling you the difference between the ones that are not perfect. But
And like
nevertheless,
if you're just listening into like you got to go watch this on YouTube in the long format video because the detail that it is producing right now on this full scale drawing is fucking insane. And even if you just want to cross reference your estimators or your takeoffs, I mean that's a good way to do it too. Get your guys to do a takeoff, get them to review everything, and then challenge it. And then that will tell you in real time how much efficiency you can optimize into your business. Like there's a lot of detail here, and you're saving a lot of time. So make sure you go follow them and watch this on YouTube as well.
Also, sometimes it finds things that the estimator missed. They're like, "What do you mean this receptacle is wherever?" Right?
Mm,
It was like buried under somewhere, and then you kind of like take a closer look and find basically these things that you didn't think existed. So yeah, you're absolutely right. We're still in a day and age where AI makes mistakes, but as it's going, for a year from now, it might not make any mistakes anymore. So what we can do today is start using it, understanding how things work, so that by
yeah.
the time we're kind of like wake up in the morning, oh, it's perfect now. Move along instead of delaying.
The other thing too is that because you're in the industry, you know what I mean? If wherever you're listening from, whatever industry you're in, because you're in the industry, if you start using this shit like religiously, like every fucking day, at some point you might recognize an opportunity where you could implement a slight different change that other people aren't seeing. And you could be leading the creation of a new software. And somebody like Sam could help you build out this software that will help you optimize a specific industry. And then you'll go from contractor to software developer. I'm kind of going down this road where it's like contractor, educator, education software. I don't know if it'll happen, but it's a fucking cool idea, and we'll see if it takes off. But you have to try some different shit. And if you're not playing with this, you're not in a position. Most contractors and entrepreneurs are creative people. They see the problems that need to be solved. And that's why I think general contractors could actually dominate in the software development industry as long as they find somebody like you, because they understand how to connect the dots and solve these problems. When they find out how you can create efficiency with incorporating Chat GPT, I think it's a game changer. So just start fucking using it and make sure you watch this video because Sam's about to dive into some really good detail here.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. They say that the most popular programming language of the future is just plain language. Any language doesn't even have to be English. And you also mentioned something very important, that finding the problems can only be expressed by the person experiencing the problem, right? So let's say we've got a software development firm. They have no idea what's going on site, right? And the ones that can make the connection, that's where these apps come from, right?
Yep.
Now, the development of software is plummeting, right? So if you do find, oh, these issues, if only this was better, if only this was faster, this problem is preventable, but costing me 10% of my margin, I need this to be fixed right away. How much will it cost to fix it? It'll be lower than you think. This wasn't the case a year ago, but it's true today. Developing software is so much faster. Now it's just coming up with the idea that works,
Yeah.
that requires the software in the first place. All right, great segue. Here's a nugget that I think everyone should know. HTML and CSS, this is the language of websites, basically, but there's also JavaScript. It'll infer that if needed. But now I have this analysis all these things. That's great. And I want it built into an app that I can edit and also export. So that might be my estimate, right? You can add your logos and everything, but let's go into this in a little bit detail here. For the analysis, please make this visual summary table in HTML and CSS. I just give this instruction so that it makes it look nice instead of just text. Add fillable fields for unit cost and quantity so that I can fill in the correct numbers, as well as my fee for the receptacle, for example, with appropriate calculation of groups and totals for all groups as well. I want everything automatically totaled, and then at the end, a full total. So within 5 minutes, I could text my estimate basically to the person. Yeah, my formal estimate will follow, but it's going to cost 125 grand for this massive project. Light print friendly colors. I always like to say this because it always goes dark mode. I don't know why people always love dark mode. It doesn't print well. You push print, nothing comes out. And I want to be able to edit the quantity and unit price, as well as to be export directly to CSV. So what I'm doing now is just basically asking for quick software for my immediate need. This took a while, so I'm not going to go into the Dairy Queen example. Let's just look at this one. So it wrote all this code. You don't have to care about that. But on the top right, you just click on run code. And exactly what I asked for, it made it. So it looks like it added some stuff to show off. Let's see, collapse all, expand all. Well, that's nice. I didn't even ask for this, but let's expand all. It's got the counts, the preliminary counts from the initial analysis, and I'm double checking. I'm like, oh no, this is actually 400, or no, there's actually 5 of these. And just to be fast, I'm going to put the unit costs at 15 each. It's faster to type, just to show you that it does calculate.
No way.
That's great. That's great.
And you can export this?
Yeah, you can even make a PDF with your logo and everything. We just don't have time, I don't think, today to show that. But if you guys want me at your place of work to kind of like teach people, I do 4-hour sessions, and the promise is after the 4 hours, I'm just going to do one to be faster. After the 4 hours, everyone will be like basically supercharged with knowing how to use these AIs. And it's definitely time saving. Okay. So I added a bunch of numbers, which is my fee, obviously fake, but I've got the grand total, as well as I have the individual totals. So I could screenshot this right away, send it over, and be like, hey, this is my preliminary estimate within 3 minutes of receiving the takeoff, for example. But I want to export a CSV. It's not working. I'm going to say the CSV export is not working, and it's going to fix it. I'm going to switch to Gemini because I have tested this earlier. Gemini is better, but a little bit. I prefer Chat GPT myself, but this one, same thing. I'm going to export to CSV. I know this one worked, and then I'm going to drag this guy here, and then I'm going to drag this guy here. I'm going to import.
This is fucking crazy.
Sorry. Insert new sheets.
There's a friend of mine. He's an electrician, pretty larger company. They do like, $10-20 million build outs. He talks about his estimating process like it's, secretive, and tried to get some of the details from him. But, he mentioned that, it takes them months in some cases to build out their proposals. What you've just done in like 5 minutes is mind blowing. I mean, even if it's not 100% accurate, it's still data that you have like the ability. Like, this would have taken a week to figure all this shit out.
Yeah, it is accurate between, inside of 20%. So you could ask a 20% contingency, mention, hey, I don't have the project yet. This is what I'm standing by. It might be 20% more or less, but here you have kind of like a general idea immediately, like it's the first thing on its table. And if they're in a rush after 24 hours, they got to make their decision. They don't care about the 20%. They got to get it moving because you're giving them that comfort of this is basically what it looks like. This is the data that I'm working with. If there is any inaccuracies, it's likely because whoever created your PDF in the first place cut a few corners, copy pasted something a little incorrectly. But you can convey this trust with messaging, and they'll like it, right? So
you can probably you can probably even review the document to find discrepancies or inaccuracies and then point those out prior to actually uploading all this stuff, so that you actually have an idea of, the errors that could exist on the drawings. Point those back out to the architect, which they probably wouldn't love that. What this is fucking insane.
I also use ChatGPT 5. You can use ChatGPT 5 thinking, takes longer, but kind of checks its work. So what thinking models are is that after it answers, it basically sends it back saying, "Hey, can you improve this? Are you sure? Make sure this is correct." And kind of like, it costs. It's more expensive in the sense that you can't do it as often. You have maybe 40 messages a month or something, and people are kind of angry about that because you were able to do a lot more with the dumber models actually. So you might hear in the media that, oh, GP5 is great, but not what we wanted. I mentioned earlier in the podcast that I feel like my toolkit has been stolen, unfortunately. So this thing broke, but Gemini went all good, asking for too many changes. But there's other things you can do, like add a logo. You can draw charts. This is not chartable data really, but let's say you have times worked. These are the employees, how much they're getting paid. You can see who are the ones who are the least productive and the most expensive. There's all sorts of use case scenario, and fundamentally, anything is possible. So the best way to get this kind of like really working for your business is basically to ask me or ask ChatGPT or ask some other person to get you on that path. Like, okay, you've identified these problems. This is the data you're working with, and you want them to kind of like combine to, instead of taking 4 hours unproductive time, 5 minutes.
5
This is
seconds.
just a generalization, but that's the world we live in. Because I don't know if blue collar work have office like administrative hours paid. We hear this in Air Canada right now. All the flight attendants are upset because there's a lot of hours that are not paid, but still part of the job, and it's measurable. And I'm not privy to blue collar, but I think that might also be true. Like creating proposal, creating estimates, all those things. There's no line item in your estimate. Oh, proposal writing, 4 hours, right? So that has to be kind of like built into the job, I imagine. You want to reduce that or eliminate that to just make yourself your margins higher, make without increasing your hourly wage, make more money because you've saved time, do more jobs.
Yeah. Well, ultimately, the goal in construction is the cost per client or cost per opportunity. If it comes down and your profit margin goes up, I mean, that's the ultimate goal, and efficiency as well on site. So, Sam, dude, we could talk all day about this shit. We'll definitely have to get you back. So if you're listening, comment down below or anywhere about some of the things you'd like us to chat about about AI concerns, insight, keeping in mind that by the time this gets aired, it could already be different, right? Like we could already be into ChatGPT. When is ChatGPT 6 coming out? When's the timeline on that?
There is no timeline. That's why people are upset. The hopes were so high for ChatGPT 5. And don't get me wrong, ChatGPT 5 is absolutely incredible. What people are upset at is that they removed the options of using dumber versions for whatever toolkit. Like, sometimes you're using a screwdriver instead of a drill, but you prefer the screwdriver. That's how I feel. I'm like, if only I could get, let's say, ChatGPT 4.1 has a 1 million context window. So in that session, in that thread, you could fit 3 times more than you can now. I want to be able to do that, so
So
they're just
there'll be a change.
they're just steamrolling forward, and that's what they do to make things kind of easier. However, on the API side, if you have me or another developer make automations for all sorts of things, we have the full spread of tools. This is just for me demonstrating in a web browser, basically the power, and that's what has changed the most. Which is still good. Like I said, complaining is the worst thing you can do, because a year ago you'll still like notepad on paper, at least myself. So there's lots of great things happening, and this is just chat completion. There's AI avatars, voice, VO3. Check out VO3, is absolutely insane. If you want to make your dog talk, take a picture of your dog, upload the VO3, and say, have this dog tell me whatever,
Oh,
and
my
it's just
daughter will
going
love
insane.
that.
So that's good. My last point, the awareness side of my business is, going on podcasts, doing talks. And if anyone wants me, or even just kick it in chat, I want to know what those problems look like. and sound like from the field, because I have no idea, right? I'm just putting like I'm punching in numbers like like an idiot here, but you guys know where the value is, and I have the solutions to make it to build it at scale, right? And like Brandon said, you could become a software developer very quickly, just having the right problem, right?
Right. Well, when I presented my idea about my software that we're already kind of a little bit into, not fully into, and your response, you were finishing my sentences, and it's fucking just it's crazy. I haven't come across anyone that has the depth of understanding about ChatGPT like you do. I'm not trying to gas you up. That's just a true statement. I haven't found anyone. So I promise you, if you are looking to incorporate AI or anything, any technology into your business, definitely connect with Sam. Sam, again, one more time, where can people find you?
Yeah, so my website is mindmodel.ai, but put in my name in LinkedIn. That's where I connect the most. And any questions, you can also email me at sam@mindmodel.ai. And I'm really excited to read these comments because I want to know what those problems are because I don't know what the problems are. I have the solutions. I just want to know what the problems are.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I hope we get a lot of engagement from everyone. The reason we put together this podcast is to help contractors and people within the industry to get on site quicker, to make more money, to be more efficient. And this was an incredible episode. I hope you all enjoyed this. Thank you so much, Sam. I'm looking forward to having you on again. And make sure you go like and subscribe and do all the things. There's no sponsorship. We don't get paid for this shit. So the only way we can grow this podcast is if you share the show. So please make sure to share the show. And thank you so much, Sam. That is all. We'll see you next week.